Welcome, everyone, to the 2026 Student Conference Preview. My name is Heather Briere. I'm Director of Learning and Leadership Programs here at the League. I'm joined by a number of colleagues tonight, and we'll kind of introduce as we go through the day. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a roadmap of where we are headed. So we're going to start with a little bit of a conference overview, learning about the themes, the programming, different performances and networking opportunities, as well as another orientation that's happening later on this spring. Then we'll do a deep dive in our student constituency agenda because we have 5 hours of closed door meetings just for students. We'll talk about League student member conference registration for those that are not registered yet, as well as the benefits of attending conference. We can talk a bit about budgeting and funding opportunities to help you come join us in Baltimore. And then we're going to hear from a student from Baltimore, what's so great about Baltimore, how to get around town, great museums and food and all the things. And then we'll have an open Q&A. So I'm going to hand things over to my colleague, David Stiers.
Great. Thank you so much, Heather. Yeah, my name is David Stiers. I'm also Director of Learning and Leadership Programs at the League and oversee the content for our national conference each year. And so just want to walk through and share just briefly our plans for this coming June in Baltimore. It's our 81st national conference, and it's the first time we have been on the East Coast since our last Baltimore conference in 2016. We're using the same conference hotel, the Baltimore Marriott Waterfront. It's a gorgeous location right on the water. And although the hotel's 25 years old, they did a gut renovation during the pandemic. And so it looks brand new on the inside. So it's a beautiful facility. We already have nearly 570 people registered for the conference, 33 students. And so we actually are expecting this to be one of our largest conferences ever, particularly because it's so easy for a lot of people to either come by train or by car, in addition to flying into BWI, which is known as a low discount airline airport. And the early bird registration date is April the 16th for people to get the lowest rate possible. And then we will be doing a conference orientation webinar on Wednesday, May the 13th from 3 to 4 Eastern for anyone registered for the conference or interested in learning more about the conference to give them a full rundown of what to expect when they come to Baltimore. To give you, again, some highlights that you can also get all the details at leagueconference.org. Again, the conference itself is the major gathering of the orchestra field each year, and it brings together all constituencies, all affinity groups, orchestras from all geographies across the United States and some international, as well as all different budget sizes of orchestras and youth orchestras as well. We strive to provide effective business practices and help people build healthy cultures through our sessions. There's lots of leadership development opportunities. We focus on how to sustain the future of orchestras that are artistically creative and reflects their communities, and showcase the host orchestra and other regional organizations, which we're particularly doing this year. So sort of as a schedule at a glance, you'll see that we are running Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is a little bit unusual for us for the conference this year. We usually are at the end of the week, but we're at the beginning of the week this year. And we have lots of pre-conference activities starting on Sunday, May the 31st, running into Monday morning, June the 1st. And then the conference officially begins the afternoon of June the 1st with constituency meetings, and Heather will go more in detail about those on Monday afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, and Wednesday morning, and then different general sessions, open sessions, and lots of networking, an enormous exhibit hall, and then different activities in the evening. So I'll go through some of these big highlights. One thing I will point out that this year we have 3 different orchestras performing in the evenings with the Baltimore Chamber Orchestra concert Sunday night, an Annapolis Symphony Orchestra concert on a Monday night, and each of those ensembles are actually making their Meyerhoff debut. So the Meyerhoff is the name of the concert hall in Baltimore, and both of those local orchestras are performing at the Meyerhoff for the first time. And then the official conference concert by our host, the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, will be on Tuesday evening with what is historically known as the tune-up party. And anyone is invited to the tune-up party that's registered for the conference, even if they don't come to the concert at the Baltimore Symphony. But we look forward to having people engage throughout the many days, and conference registration also includes the closing lunch as well. The pre-conference activities I mentioned, again, we do several pre-conference seminars, and so there'll be 3 of them this year, one on fundraising and one on organizational culture Sunday afternoon, and then one on orchestra board governance on Monday morning. And as an aside, we actually will be debuting our brand new effective orchestra governance guide at the conference, and the author of the new guide will be leading that seminar on Monday morning. So we're excited about that new resource, and it will be free to our members, downloadable on our website. We'll have hard copies at the conference. So when you come to Baltimore, look for that. We also will be having a joint meeting of our education community engagement constituency with our youth orchestra division, which Heather also manages, and it's the 50th anniversary celebration of our youth orchestra division, which is exciting. As I mentioned, the Baltimore Chamber Orchestra concert that evening, and then on Monday morning, in addition to that governance pre-conference seminar, we have a tech fair that is free to any delegates to hear from different technology companies about their latest software offerings, databases, ticketing programs, and it's become something that's very highly sought out by companies to present, and lots of delegates show up for it. It sort of started as a pilot a couple of years ago, and we just keep doing it every year because it just gets bigger and bigger. There's also an open rehearsal for artistic delegates by the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra over at the Meyerhoff, and then we'll have meetings of our volunteer constituencies, as well as our Lana gathering, and that's our affinity group for people of color in the orchestra field, and it's an opportunity for them to connect prior to the conference beginning as well. Then our 2 big general sessions, one at the opening and one at the closing. So the opening general session will be at the Meyerhoff, and we will provide free busing from the hotel to the Meyerhoff for the opening. We will have a Gold Baton Award given at both the opening and the closing this year. And the opening Gold Baton Award will go to the Sphinx organization. Many of you may know of their work out of Detroit to promote musicians of Black and Brown heritage, and the Sphinx Connect conference in January and their competitions. And so it's wonderful to be able to honor 25 years of the work that Sphinx organization has been doing. There'll be performances by the Baltimore Symphony Youth Orchestra and by Orc Kids, as well as an opening keynote by Deborah Rudder. Some of you may know her name as the most recent long-term president and CEO of the Kennedy Center. She had an illustrious multi-decade career in the orchestra field before going to the Kennedy Center, and was CEO of the Los Angeles Chamber Orchestra, the Seattle Symphony, Chicago Symphony Orchestra. If you listen to Weekend Edition on Saturday, you would have heard her interviewed by Scott Simon, talking about sort of the future of the Kennedy Center. And so we're excited to have Deborah join us. She's now Associate Provost for the Arts and Culture at Duke University. And so we're excited to have her talk about, from her perspective and experience of so many decades, sort of her vision of the future for the orchestra field. And then the closing luncheon, again on on Wednesday, that everyone's invited to, we'll be giving a Gold Baton Award to David Hislop, who amazingly has been around for nearly 7 decades in the orchestra field, was president CEO of many major orchestras, St. Louis, Dallas, Minnesota, But in retirement over the past 20 years, he's been like the interim CEO for nearly 15 different orchestras, sort of been a yeoman's heavy lift and really has done remarkable work helping orchestras almost in crisis in executive transitions um, stabilize and get to a better place. So we're very excited to honor David for his years of contribution to the orchestra field, but also particularly to um, orchestras he's been the interim for. And then we'll also be hearing from Laura Downs and Arturo O'Farrell. But some of you may, if you again listen to NPR, will hear Laura as a host of her new Declaration Project, where she's going around the country in this 250th year, talking to people about music, what it means to them, different pieces. And the jazz musician Arturo O'Farrell is writing a new piano concerto for Laura, which she will debut at the Lincoln Center with the American Composers Orchestra in July. And so we get a sneak peek at our conference. And so very excited to have Laura and Arturo at our closing. And it's also where we have our annual meeting. So it's a very inspirational way to end the conference. And we will kick off plans for our 2027 conference in Atlanta. The other thing is there are open sessions throughout the conference. We have 19 of them in 4 different time blocks, and they will be focused on these or 7 big topic areas of audience growth and development, engaging local communities, fundraising, leadership, financial stability, education program, youth engagement, and finally advocacy and communicating value. And these topics came from a member survey that we did of our field last year. And so we have designed a set of sessions that focus on these. And again, these open sessions, anybody can attend any of these sessions. And that will be opportunity to intermix with different constituency groups on various topics. And there's about 4 or 5 to choose from in each session, and everyone complains that they want to go to more than one, but we actually do audio record all the sessions. We'll video some of them, and those are posted on our website later in June. So if you see 2 sessions you want to go to, pick one and then know you can listen to the other one later in June. And so those are the main things I wanted to share about conference content. Happy to answer any questions anyone has. And also we'll stay on for any questions towards the end, but looking forward to seeing everyone in Baltimore.
All right, if there's no questions, I'm going to hand things off to Megan Rasmussen to talk through our student constituency agenda. Take it away, Megan.
Thank you, Heather. I'm so excited to talk about our student constituency agenda, what happens in our closed door meetings. We have a lot of really wonderful things set up for us as students. The first day on Monday, we'll be talking a lot about how to prepare for conference. It's a really, really exciting time. It can be a little overwhelming if you've never been before. And so our first little block of time, we're going to be talking about how to make the most of conference, because it really is what you get what you put into it. And I personally have experienced that. It's an amazing time. It's wonderful. It's crazy. But hopefully with this little event, we'll be able to set you up for success, give you the tools you need to navigate the wonderful chaos that is conference. And then right after that, we'll start our job application workshop. Most of us are, students or recent graduates. We're looking for that first big job, or looking forward to that first big job. And then we have a wonderful, wonderful resource in Sonia Toms, the director of operations and personnel at the Chattanooga Symphony and Opera, working with us to put on this job application workshop. We'll talk about job interview questions that come up, resumes, cover letters, the whole process. I'm super excited for this workshop. Tuesday will be our big orchestra management and career panel. We have so many exciting speakers that will be announced soon. We have industry professionals come in, and it's a panel where they talk about their experiences, their advice. It was wonderful last year, so much so we wanted to bring it back again and give it some extra time. So the full 2 hours on Tuesday will be that. It's a really wonderful opportunity to ask questions of industry professionals, start networking. I'm super excited for that one. Final day on Wednesday, we have two really exciting events. Our first one is bridging diverse audiences through social media. Social media is it's a hot topic in marketing right now, especially in the orchestral field. And as students, we definitely have a unique perspective because we grew up with it. It's intuitive at this point for many people in our generation. And so this is going to be a really exciting workshop where we can explore that a little bit more, how we can contribute to the orchestral fields with our insights into social media. And then our final session at conference will be our reflection and how to stay connected. Networks are huge in the orchestra field, and we want to make sure we build those peer networks as well as with other people in the industry. So this session is basically us talking about our experience at conference, building those connections, staying in contact, making plans. I really enjoyed our conversation that we had last year as well with this, and I have some really great friends that I've been able to stay in contact with, and from this session at conference. It's a really wonderful opportunity, and I'm excited to see you all there.
Thanks, Megan. Does anyone have any questions about the 5 hours of closed doors meetings that we'll have? All right. Fantastic. Moving right along. I just wanted to take the temperature of the room and see how many of you are already registered for conference. If you're able to, just raise your hand. Great. Well, we can't wait to see you in Baltimore. For those who might not be registered yet, I just wanted to kind of walk through how you can get yourself registered. I will say that you will be in great company. So far, we have 33 students registered for conference. And really, our goal is really to help you build your professional network, learn alongside the pros, and just really have a great 3 day, experience investing in your future. Whether you're looking for a job now or in a year or two, once you graduate, all are welcome. But just know you'll be joining like 1,300 other orchestra professionals around the country. So if you haven't already been to our main page, is leagueconference.org/students, where you can learn all about what we have planned. But your very first step in registering for conference is making sure you are a League member. So thankfully, to become a member, you can go right here, become a member. Student memberships at the League are free. So once you're a member, then you can jump over here and register. Right now, we have free registrations still open, but they are limited. So once we are out of our free registrations, then we have a highly discounted rate of $265 for the 3 day experience. So the other thing you can do here is also download our student flyer. You can share that with your friends and classmates and post it at schools. I will say one of the handy things on this page is also a conference budget checklist, just to kind of know what you're in for. Even if you are getting free registration, you probably, need travel and accommodations unless you're a Baltimore local. I'm happy to say that tickets to the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra concert on June 2nd are free to students. So I highly encourage you. I know it comes after a long day of conference. I think we run 8 or 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. We will have a student constituency dinner following that. And then it goes right into the concert and then that tune-up party that David mentioned. So it's a long day, but it is so worthwhile. All right. The other thing I did want to mention about registering as a student, That means that when you register as a student member, only student constituency that's the meeting track you will be going to when there's constituency meeting time in the schedule. So it's the 5 hours of content that Megan just shared. If you are under 18, we do ask that you have an adult who's 21 plus as a chaperone, and we make those chaperone registrations also free. We also say that, minors cannot, indulge in alcohol during the receptions that will happen during conference. Does anyone have any questions about registering? All right. Well, I would love to open the floor to those that have been to conference before to kind of share, why do you come to conference? What do you get out of it as a student member? Any aha moments you've had in experience. Sonia, would you like to start us off?
Sure, I can jump in. Hi, everyone. I'm Sonia Thoms. I'm not a student, but I have a great passion to help you all get your first job in an orchestra. Um, I've been going to conference. I guess I should figure out how many years. I have a streak going, so but it's like 10 years at least. And I love going to conference because it is such an opportunity to get out of my own personal bubble and gain perspective, talk to people in person, meet new people. There's always new faces, get to hear a great orchestra. Because we're used to hearing our own orchestra if you're working at an orchestra already. So I'm just so excited that students are joining us now at conference. It's just been a few years, about five. Oh, this will be the fifth year, I think, which is very exciting because it's a scary thing. There's a lot of people that come to conference. Like it can be overwhelming. There's usually about 1,000 at least people. So it's just a good bravery exercise to throw yourself into a room where there's about 1,000 professionals. But I'm so proud of are my peers in the industry, and they're very welcoming and very encouraging. So I'm really excited for you all to join us at conference to gain those connections, to learn more about what the field is doing right now, and to see Baltimore if you've never been there and hear the BSO.
And I can just add my first conference when I was a student in 1992 was in Washington, D.C. And I still have such vivid memories of that event and the people that I met and heard the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra at that time do Beethoven's Eroica and still remember David Zinman's concert. And the big thing was networking with people. And I connected with my hometown orchestra's executive director who was at the conference. And so there were no other students, particularly for me to hang out with, because there was no constituency. But it was fun hanging out and seeing my hometown orchestra. So if you have orchestra professionals, such as maybe your hometown orchestra, an orchestra you're connected with who you know are going to conference, let them know as well. So you can meet up with them in Baltimore. And so that was a fun experience for me many, many decades ago.
That's a great note, David, because I think next month the league is going to launch on leagueconference.org a little tab where it'll say who's coming to conference. You can look up the names of individuals and orchestras that are going to be, part of those 1,300 people coming, and you can start to make a list of who you're really hoping to connect with while you're there, and we will do anything we can to try and make that connection for you. I will say my first league conference was in 2016 in Baltimore. So it's nice to be going back. And I just have so many fond memories of, all the inspiring content that I saw, that I was a part of, some music making. It was just a fantastic experience. And people that I met 10 years ago at conference, I still see at these conferences. Megan, I know you've been to a couple of conferences before. Do you want to share anything about your experience, what you're really looking forward to this year?
Yeah, I'd love to. So my first conference actually was last year in Salt Lake City. It was my hometown conference. It's where I'm from. And I was so excited to participate. It was such an amazing experience for me. I was able to connect with, people I'd only met online or emailed with in person. I was able to meet people that, I'd heard of but never talked to before. I think one of my favorite connections was just in the lobby of the hotel. We were both waiting for the bus or something and just got talking with someone who was there and learned about this amazing organization out of, I believe it was Indiana, who was doing some incredible work in the schools with classical music in the schools, partnering with various orchestras around the country. And that really opened my eyes to like careers, like orchestral adjacent careers, like maybe not in an orchestra, but the wide variety of things you can do in the orchestral field, which at the time was something that I was really focused on exploring. It was just different options. So conference is a great opportunity especially if you don't know exactly maybe what career trajectory you want to go in. There's so much there. There's the technology, the tech fair that David mentioned is a great opportunity. And there's so many different orchestras, so many different connections that you can make. Our career panel, like I was talking about a little bit earlier, is an amazing opportunity for kind of those different options. I loved meeting the other students, meeting other people my age who, are passionate about it as I am. And conference is just a really wonderful time. It's very inspiring. It was kind of a moment of, yes, this is what I want to do. Yes, this is where I'm going. This is exciting. And I think we all need those moments every once in a while to just relight our spark, our candle of passion for the orchestral field. And conference does exactly that.
Thank you. I know our Student Leadership Council has been working so hard on the student constituency meeting track. They've also been involved in some of the elective sessions that you'll get to be a part of, as well as one of the pre-conference sessions. Um, but Megan and Faith, do you want to share anything about, how to fund your way to a conference? Opportunities that might be available through schools and things like that.
Yeah, love to add. So for me, and I know most schools in the US, they have grants for students for them to travel to different festivals, conferences, especially if you're in a music program. So definitely looking into resources like that because, we're all students, we're not making the bank just yet, and it might be a couple of years. So save your money and, use your school's money and resources, really make the most of that. I think on top of it, if you aren't registered already, definitely register soon so you can get access to free registration and to be able to meet all those incredible people that will be attending conference, including yourselves. So that's just some ways to fund your way to conference.
Yeah, I totally agree with Faith on that. I definitely have used grants through my schools. Sometimes they're under differential tuition grants, sometimes travel grants for graduate and undergraduate students. They're labeled a lot of different ways, but most schools have some sort of fund to help students travel to conferences because they are so impactful in your education. Another option, it's not quite as common as far as I know, but you could look into like community grants and supports. A lot of communities will have a community arts council. Local orchestras might have some like learning and educational opportunity funds. Like I said, it's not quite as common, but it's definitely something to look into in your community. Um, and just like talking with people that like honestly, this industry is so about networks. And if you know somebody who's going, especially once that list comes out of who's going to conference, like look at that, see if somebody near you is going and saying, "Hey, what are your travel plans looking like? What opportunities would you recommend?" Kind of connecting with those people even before coming to conference can sometimes open doors that, you wouldn't expect. Funding can kind of pop out of nowhere sometimes. So just keep your eyes open, look for opportunities, talk with people. That would be my biggest advice because it is such an important, amazing opportunity.
Thank you both. Now I want to turn things over to Nima, who is a Baltimore local, to hear more about what makes her city so amazing, what, she's really excited for our students to experience.
Hi everyone. I'm Nima. I hope you guys are all doing well. Appreciate you all coming on to this call. So I'm currently in Baltimore. I've lived here my whole life, and I would say it's definitely one of the most diverse cities I've been to. In terms of the music scene, it's very common here, and there's so many places, so many organizations that have been founded through Baltimore. Um, and it's also Maryland, so if you eat crabs, like you can get it here. That's the place for it. It's very popular here, so you might see a lot of different restaurants specifically catering to seafood. Um, if that is your interest. I would also say that music in Baltimore historically goes all the way back. Um, it's not a newer thing. It's been here for longer than probably all of us. Um, and yeah, there's also tons in the area that we'll be in downtown. So there is the hotel, and then there's like the big focal point, which is like the downtown area where you have like tons of different restaurants. There's like a kind of like a boardwalk where you can see like the different ships and stuff. And there's just tons of things to do everywhere. I would also say here public transportation is a huge thing here. Personally, I take public transportation because it's just easier, faster than if I would call an Uber, um, because everything's very close. But yeah, I'm your person. If you have any questions about Baltimore, if you need help looking for a place, besides the hotel or places to eat, I got you. Yeah, feel free to email me if you have any questions. Yeah.
Thanks, Nima. Does anyone have any questions on this call? Carrie, go ahead.
Hi, so my name's Carrie. I'm an oboist and played for about 15 years professionally, and I'm getting an MBA right now. So I'm a little bit weird in that I don't have any experience in the admin side, but I'm also older, so I'm hoping to use the conference to really do a lot of networking. And so to that end, would it be a good idea to bring copies of my resume and business cards, things like that, just to hand out as I meet people, like have a good stack of those? Okay, great.
Absolutely. Yes.
Mhm.
Please do bring your resume because I think it could be very helpful for Sonia's job application workshop as well.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. And I will say, to yes and your business cards, whether you have business cards or not, a lot of apps now, you can do a digital business card as well. So you can have a QR code that people are scanning as you're meeting them. I think there's a free one through LinkedIn even. And it's so many people, you will not remember all of their names through the 3 days.
Yeah, I can share that like for my experience 2 years ago, the business cards were like amazing. That was like because sometimes I think Megan said like I met person like on the way out and like we just said, hey, hi, we good to see you, and like we just exchanged like business cards and then we continued the conversation afterwards. Um and yeah, that was really useful. And I did it like for the conference. I made my first business card. with some, I'm a composer, so I put even like some links to my music on it and a QR code to other information that people can find it. It was super helpful.
Did I see Emma? You had a question?
Thank you so much. Yeah, and thank you so much for this introductory session. It's been very helpful. I was wondering, I recently graduated, so I'm not a current student anymore, but I did graduate from my master's at NYU May 2025, so just over a year ago. I saw on the website that the cutoff seems like June 1st. I just wanted to check, and of course, completely understand if I can no longer be in part of the student constituency, but I just wanted to check if that's a hard deadline.
Unfortunately it is, but Emma, we'll connect separately about that. Thank you for bringing it up though. It's a very good question because we have kind of changed some of the process for registering as a student recently. So there are some new processes this year.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Faith, did I see you had a question?
Oh, I just wanted to add about the business card. I think it's a really good investment. I recently produced my own business card about 2 months ago, and Staples has a really good deal where you can print it out for free. Like I think it was 200 for about $30 flat. And yeah, just having like your QR code for your LinkedIn or resume too, if you don't want to carry a big stack of, papers with your resume to hand out to people. But yeah, I just wanted to add that resource to anyone who's interested. I think it is a very good investment in your future, and so that you can connect with as many people as you can.
Any other last questions?
I was just going to say, I love that everybody has a name tag at all times, and it is this, big lanyard that we wear. But I just love, I'm a big name tag person. I think it makes everything easier because it just kind of breaks down that barrier. And it says the name and it says what organization. I don't know if for students, Heather or David, it probably just says student. I'm not sure that it says school, what school you might go to, but either way, first names are, it's just so helpful because then everybody's trying to learn everybody's names, which is great.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight and for many of you taking that first step of registering for conference and saying, I'm investing in 3 days of learning and building my network towards my next step, whether that next step is immediately and is trying to meet people who are hiring while at conference, or whether it's a few years, down the road. We're just so excited to welcome you to Baltimore, to welcome you to League conferences. And if there's anything, any questions that pop up between now and June 1st, feel free to get in touch with me anytime. I am the student constituency liaison, and alongside me, I have great people like Sonia, who has been, with student constituency since its inception, as well as student leadership council members, Megan, Nima, Faith. We also have 3 more that couldn't join us today. So I can't wait for you to meet all 6 of them in Baltimore. Thank you so much for joining us and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Look forward to seeing you in June.